I think that's by design.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to see, I know obviously K-State tomorrow. Is it, in your mind, is it just the next game on the schedule, or maybe does it mean a little bit more because it is rivalry, it's a new month, and maybe a chance to string some wins together?
I think it's all the above, Shay. I think we can't get a string together unless we get one. And it is a new month. We were not very good in November. We were terrific in December. We weren't any good in January. So this is our month, February. And of course, it'd be a great time to play our best ball moving forward. So I do think the fact that it's K-State, the fact that it's a home game, I do think that brings a little extra charge to it as well.
Hey, Coach, I'm sure scouting report, all those things continue to be important, but if you take that away and just look at what your team needs to do or what you want to see them do, what's the one or two things that you want to see regardless of opponent?
Well, I'd like to see, obviously, I think I've said this for the most part all year long. I would like to see our energy level improve. I'd like to see our joy playing probably improve. I'd like to see more smiles, those sorts of things. And you said take away scouting report. I think those are the things that's probably more important than a scouting report in order to get guys to maximize their abilities that we have, not only individually but as also as a group. So those would be the things that I would say, enjoy playing with and for each other. I think those are things that this is something that we have consistently done, really well over the years, and it doesn't seem to be that good right now, and especially not as good as what it was in December. So we've shown that we can do it, but it hasn't been consistent at all, I would say, this past month.
Have you been able to pinpoint why it's missing?
I think there's multiple reasons, but multiple reasons always are also excuses too. So I think there's multiple reasons, but I also think that it's correctable. And now, granted, guys, let's just call it like it is before we kind of get carried away talking about trying to pinpoint losing at Tennessee or not playing well at Tennessee. I'm not sure there was 2 or 3 teams in America could have beat Tennessee that night. There may be 2. And I'm not positive on that, the way they shot the ball and the way their marginal shooters up until that point shot the ball and things like that. So let's not just look at, outcomes as reasons why of things that need to be changed. I think it's different than that. So if we'd have lost that game by 5, people may be saying something a little bit different, but the bottom line is that we haven't played up to our own abilities, in large part because I don't think that our intangibles have been as good as what they were in December.
Hey, Bill, how much of shooting do you think is mental and previous shots influencing like the next one?
Well, CJ, if you make 2 5-footers, you feel better over the third one. It's of course, shooting can be mental, but the best shooters or the toughest shooters, they don't remember their misses; they only remember their makes. So I would say that is sometimes a little bit mental. I didn't think Ochai's looked mental at all. I think it looked like he just missed them. Whenever you're shooting 3 threes on a possession, then you're probably not worried about missing. You're probably more worried about being aggressive and taking. So I think it goes kind of that. Obviously, seeing 1 or 2 go down gives you confidence. Seeing a layup or a free throw go in can also give you confidence. I think that sometimes we take harder shots, and then if we're not successful taking a harder shot, then all of a sudden that can affect your confidence, especially if you're a bench guy, or maybe try to get something easy or easier when you first get in the game. So but yeah, it's hugely confidence. That's the way it is everywhere. But we don't have guys that that have Mario Chalmers type memories. And I mean that with as a huge compliment. We need to get more of that.
Hey, Coach, I asked. Sorry.
K-State had
going.
a guy who make 8 threes. How do you get your perimeter defense where you need it to be?
Well, we can't let the young fella walk into shots. We got to be there on the catch. We need to make him put it down, in order to create space rather than getting it off the catch. I think there's things that and that's not really big time coach speak. I think there's things that we need to do to be there on the catch that, in all honesty, we have done a crap job of. If you go back and look at the Tennessee game, and I don't have the stats in front of me, what were they, 8 of 13 from 3 and 5 of 7 or 6 the first half or whatever, and Josiah and Pons made the vast majority of those. Those were guys that we told our guys to close out short on. Those are that wasn't necessarily awful defense. That was just kind of us playing a scouting report. When you have a kid like Pack, the scouting report is not to close out short. It's to be there on the catch. And so hopefully we'll do a better job there. But our 3-point shooting defense in through December, I think, was around 29%, which isn't unbelievable, but it's pretty good considering the schedule we played. And we played some teams that could really shoot the ball, Gonzaga, Creighton, and others. And then our 3-point defense, I think, post January has been around 42%, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously that's a huge difference we have to get better at.
Hey, Coach, I asked Mitch about his senior leadership. He's obviously one of the seniors on the team. I just wanted to ask, what have you seen from Mitch or any of the other seniors, any of the upperclassmen that you've seen throughout the last few days after the loss to Tennessee?
Well, you ask me questions that you can't really answer. Because since the loss to Tennessee, we flew, got back late, and yesterday we had a walkthrough. Now we did meet. We did a recovery lift and we did a shooting practice, but we did not have a competitive practice. So we'll know more today on that. But I don't think there's anything. You say, what have we seen since the Tennessee game? I don't know that we've really given anyone a chance to see anything, but we hopefully have had opportunities for those guys to converse and talk to others, although we haven't seen it on the practice court yet. And hopefully that's not something that's just starting now, because if it's starting now, it's about 2.5 months late. Those are things that should be done right from the jump. And I do think we have leadership, and I do think we have some good leadership. I think we have some things that have happened here of late that's not the most positive from a playing standpoint, that's maybe made guys a little bit more difficult for them to have maybe the same type leadership voice as what they've had in the past. But those are things that can be corrected. Every team goes through that.
Do you know what you'll do with the starting lineup tomorrow?
Well, we haven't practiced since the game, but yeah, I probably know what we're going to do, but I'm not going to share it with you guys right now because I might change my mind.
Coach, when you talk about wanting to see your guys play with a smile on their face and with more joy on the court,
yeah,
address the challenges of finding the energy and the enthusiasm to do that when they can't get away from basketball, to find energy and enthusiasm from family and friends and the lockdown that they're going through?
Well, I think one thing that's happened that's a very big positive is classes started on KU's campus today. So, I mean, I'm excited about that. I drove to work and actually saw about 15 kids out walking to class, which is pretty remarkable considering the wind chill at that particular time. So I thought that was a bonus. But I do think that having students back, even though it'll be a reduced amount and everything, any type of energy level like that is positive.
Hey, Coach, after the loss to Texas, you said this was one game out of 26 with not too much to lose. Right now, there are 9 games left to play in the season. What do you think these games will mean to the team?
Well, it gives us momentum, hopefully going into what would be the most important season, which would be the third season. And the one thing that I can tell by the tone of the questions, and I think that's a very good question, is the fact that not very many of us in recent years have experienced being 5-4 in the league. My team at Illinois, my second team, which ended up losing to Kansas in the Sweet 16, we weren't 5-4 in the league. We were 4-5 and had to run the table to win the league. I mean, so this is something that is more unknown to you in recent years than it probably is to me. So the next 9 games, I think, are vital. And as far as setting the tone for what type of season we're going to have. So I do agree with your point, and then certainly momentum, hopefully going into the postseason. So your point is well taken. I think it's a good question, but we make it sound like it's doom and gloom. I looked up this morning and I know I've said this before, but you know what? I looked up this morning and we've lost to the 1, 2, 6, 9, 12 or 13 team in the country and the 26th ranked team in the country. Those are our losses. And of those losses, all of them are away from home except for one. And you know what? Those are hard games for anybody to win. And that's not, we haven't won as many of the games. I think we won. What have we won? We won against 9. We won against 13. We won against 16. Beat Kentucky. So we haven't done as well in the win column playing those. But of the tier 1 games, I think we're 4-6 on the season. And those aren't normal tier 1 games. Those are the hardest tier 1 games when you play the best teams away from home. So, people thought that we didn't play worth the flip against Oklahoma at home. Well, I think anybody would take a win against the 9th-ranked team in America at home would probably be a good win now. So there's all kinds of ways you can look at it and spin it, and I will be the first to admit, more so than all you guys, that I accept responsibility, and I know that we haven't played to the level that I think we're capable of playing of, but it's not like it's not quite as dire as what I think some people have painted it to be, because we're not used to being in this spot before. I'm not used to it either in recent memory, but trust me, I've been in it.
Coach, do you have any update on Bryce's health?
Yes, I think he's progressing nicely. The problem is with Bryce's health, it's only been 2.5 weeks. And we know that we're going to be a minimum of 3.5 before he can start getting into basketball type activity with contact, at least 3.5. So if there's a thought that we would have Bryce in the next week, that would be inaccurate, even though he's on great schedule, but there's just a certain time frame it takes for those bones to heal.
How important will it be for you guys to get CB and Jalen going down the stretch?
Well, we got to get our best players and certainly our best offensive players going. I don't think that we're the type of defensive team that can afford not to have the best offensive team players playing well, if in fact we're unless we really turn it up defensively. So I could say I could look at it both ways, but absolutely it's important that we get everybody going. And you mentioned CB and Jalen, and that is totally true and accurate. But we also, everybody needs to play well. We don't have the margin for error that we can, not have a core contingent of guys play well night in and night out. So I think it's real important. I think it's important that Patrick Mahomes plays well Sunday too. I do. I think we have to have our guys, our best players, obviously play the best. It's more important for your best players to play well than it is maybe for some other guys to play well that don't get the same opportunities or score the same amount of points or get the same number of minutes.
Got time for a couple more.
You said the first TCU game is when the team had the best ball and body movement. How close are you to being back at that level?
I don't, I think it's something that can happen, and I think it can happen anytime. But if you look at it consistently, Kenitra, we haven't done that since that particular game. So if I'm even the games we won, I don't think we have as well. But I will tell you this: so much of it depends on how you guard. There's some teams in this league that guard. So, no matter what, if you can move the ball and do this and do that and force a bad closeout, and then if you can't take advantage of a bad closeout, then that's obviously not very good. So there are things that we can do better. I think we can throw the ball inside more. I think we need to play through our bigs more, through David more, not only as a scorer but a passer, and there's some things that we can do better, but you still got to be able to jump up and make a shot. And that's something we haven't done of late. And usually when teams struggle, you can look at, are they guarding, are they rebounding, and how are they shooting the ball from the perimeter? And I know that we can do all three of those better than what we have been of late.
Coach, do you think each player has found their role within the team compared to the beginning of the season?
I would say probably yes. I do believe that's the case. But a role, if you say this guy's role is to shoot the ball and he doesn't make shots, that doesn't mean he's not playing to his role. It means that he didn't make shots. And so, yes, I do think to a point I think we can get better. I do think that we have some guys that are competitive, and when things aren't going well, maybe sometimes we take it upon ourselves to try to do some things individually rather than trying to do things to make the game easier for others. I do think that. I also think that comes with any young team. So are we settling in? I think that we are. I think everybody would be able to state to you clearly what their role is, but sometimes we don't play to that. And it's not for unintended reasons. It's just sometimes things happen that don't allow us to do that. And some of those things are outside of our control.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.